You all are here because you are so excited about technology and you want to know what it's going to do for your business, and that's why we're here. And if not for your business, just for your personal skill set, so you can bring more value to your employer. I'm going to go through just a few slides, and then I'm going to pass it off to our very talented instructors here. We're going to go into definitions. Obviously, when we're talking about new technologies, we want to become familiar with those acronyms and those terms that could, in fact, go right over our head when we're on a project. And we don't want that to happen. We want to be able to let those firms know that we're capable of mastering the technologies that they're using in their office today. We want to also talk about key points as it relates to Hoffman Construction, our very talented sponsor who has graciously given us their time to present to us, so we're very grateful for that. They also are going to be talking about document control using this technology, Bluebeam. We're going to talk about some of the points and elements in the technology, and I won't go over all of those, but as most of you know, when you're in construction, things change. And it's a moving situation, and so you don't always know what you're going to be getting into. You open up a wall and things are not there that are supposed to be there, or things are there that weren't supposed to be there. So you need to be able to be prepared for that, and having technology that can work with you on an active, dynamic way is so empowering. And not to mention, it can help you keep your cost in line, which is very important for us because we want us to be very competitive. We want to be able to communicate with the architects, the engineers, and all the stakeholders in the team. Having these kinds of systems are great. Ryan is going to show you some other navigation tools within Bluebeam. We're going to have open discussion, and then Bob is going to close us up with opportunities available with Hoffman, and then I'll provide a little conclusion on next steps. Our two instructors today, not only are they handsome and young, but they are very gracious with their time. And not only are they here tonight, but it took them a lot of time to put all this material together. And while they are running very high caliber, high profile projects, they've made time for us to be able to share with what they're doing on some of these high-profile projects, like the project featured in this class, which is the Nano Engineering and Science Building at the University of Washington. Raise your hand if you've ever had an opportunity to work on a project at the University of Washington. Raise your hand if you would like to work on a project at the University of Washington. All right, so hopefully this class will be very useful. And again, my name is Dan Seidel. I am the series creator, and I am the Chief Executive Officer of the Entrepreneurial Institute of Washington. And I'm very pleased to be able to offer this and other classes that we have available on YouTube at EIW Construction University. Please feel free to go through the objectives that we have today. This is what we would like to achieve. If there are some objectives or some priorities that some of you would like to learn about the technology, give it some thought. So when we go around to those introductions, you can tell us what you would like to get out of today. And obviously, I'll go through them really quickly. We want to provide the quick overview of the technology. We want to provide insight from this very successful general contracting firm. We want to identify the pros and cons and the common uses. We want to provide a listing of those project opportunities that we talked about earlier. And again, we want to match you with those right size opportunities. With no further ado, I would like to introduce you to our main instructor, and I'd also like to give another opportunity to introduce both of the instructors so we can give them a warm welcome. So both Ryan Gardner, Bob Vincent, Hoffman Construction, let's give them a warm welcome.
Who knows what Bluebeam is? Raise your hand. Okay, well that's good. How many people use it on a regular basis? Okay, that's good. So my name is Ryan. I've been with Hoffman for 7 years. I've been in the industry a while. There's lots of ways to manage data on a job site, and our job site, for instance, is always changing. We're always getting new documents, and it can be a mess. And the old way of doing it was, paper. We had stacks and stacks and rolls of paper, and now we do it all digitally. All that information is stored in the cloud so that everybody has access to it. So let's see here. So what is a PDF? A PDF means portable document format. It's the industry standard for documents in construction and beyond. It's got the fixed layout. Text, fonts, graphics are all embedded into the document, as well as metadata, and that's where Bluebeam really sort of shines. They make really good use of all that embedded data that's in there to help you organize and track your stuff. Definitions, so Bluebeam has lots of different products. So to start off, Bluebeam View is a free viewer that they offer. You can download it for free. It can give you access to, let's say, our servers to see what we have on our projects. Bluebeam Review is that's their paid full service program. The costs range from $275 to $417. They have a whole host of tools, lots of different versions of the product that give you, access to various things. Bluebeam Studio. So this is what we key in on for our document control, and this is what allows everybody else to access all of our documents. So there's a couple different products within Bluebeam Studio, but it's their cloud-based server. Bluebeam has their own servers, or you can have your own server set up for you, as we do. And prices range on hosting the server, but if you're getting access to ours, it's free of charge. All you have to do is have a computer or an iPad that's running Bluebeam View, and you'd be able to have access to all of our project documents for free. Bluebeam Studio Sessions. That's you'll hear that term kind of thrown around. It's mostly used in the design world where people are trying to make comments on a single document and sharing it back and forth. It might be good for internal documents. We don't really use it that often. Every once in a while, we'll get a submittal that takes a lot of back and forth between the contractor, the subcontractor, some consultants, the architect, the owner. We might throw a session together so that everybody can mark up in real time on documents, and everybody can kind of collaborate in the review process. So some key points. Hoffman hosts all of their project documents on our own servers. So you're not logging into bluebeam.com, you're logging into hoffmanbluebeam.com, and that's where you'll find our stuff. You have to get invited to the project. So if you're a subcontractor on our project, you'll get an invitation. You need Bluebeam View or Review 12 or higher to run it. Anything lower than that, it won't run it. It's too out of date. You can access from a computer, Surface tablet, or iPad. So I run it on my iPad. When I'm out in the field looking at stuff, I can track progress. I can also double check things against the drawings, and I can even email stuff right from my iPad when I'm out in the field. Saves a lot of time. The project can be saved and synced to a computer or device for offline use. So quite often, especially with the iPad, I'm roaming around the project. I don't have service out there, but I can still look at the documents. And that's one thing that's really neat about Bluebeam is once you get access to it, your computer syncs with our servers when you have an internet connection, And then if you go on a trip or something where you don't have internet access, you're still able to view the project and keep up with things. You won't be getting the real-time updates, but at least you'll have access to your documents as they were the day you left. So the working set, this is what Hoffman calls, and I'm going to roll right into it here in just a minute, but this is what Hoffman calls their conformed set. It's all the documents, it's all in one place, and throughout the life of the project, it's referred to as the working set. So you hear me say working set this, working set that. At the end of the project, it becomes the red line set or the record set for the construction team. All of our posting is done in the cloud, and so everything is basically instant. You know, I make a markup on a sheet. Your computer syncs with it that day or that night, and you open up that product. You open up that page, and you'll see my markups. So having that ability to change the drawing or make a markup and get that stuff out to subcontractors quickly is one of the huge benefits to this. Another benefit for the subcontractor here is that at any, you know, I'm not sure, a lot of these smaller contracts, they get kind of tagged on to the end, and a lot of changes have taken place throughout the project before, you know, the smaller contracts have been awarded. So one of the huge benefits is that when you get in to our Bluebeam studio, you'll see a conformed set that has all of the changes, all the design changes, all of the RFIs already posted, so you're not having to stitch that stuff together yourself. Okay, so if you were to open Bluebeam, you'd see, you know, this is kind of how it's laid out. The dashboard is where our project starts. So there's kind of two tracks to navigating through our working set. One of them is through the hyperlinks, which the dashboard is set up for, and it works really well with, you know, iPads and iPhones. If you're out on the job site, you're navigating with push of a button versus trying to scroll through some sort of file system. And then, you know, typically users that they already know where they want to go, they just go right to the file directory and start picking their files out. But this is what the dashboard looks like. You can get access to, you know, the drawings, the specifications. Some people put submittals, lead documentation, shop drawings, warranty information, O&Ms, all of that stuff, you know, starts to get populated in there as the project moves forward, as people make decisions on what they want to add or take away. All the documents are hyperlinked together. The file structure is pretty straightforward and standard throughout our projects. You'll see the same file structure from project to project. You know, so navigating is just simply as, you know, as simple as just clicking buttons on the hyperlinks. You go from the drawing or from the dashboard to whatever other dashboard you might be looking for, drawing specifications. From there, you can move on to the drawing index. From the drawing index, you pick your sheet that you're looking for. You end up going to a sheet, or you can use the file structure, like I said before. So RFIs and clarifications throughout the life of the project. You know, there's going to be questions. There's going to be clarifications. Those things all get updated in the set, real time. And anytime you guys go to call up that same drawing that had been marked up or document that had been added, you're getting the posted, up-to-date copy. You're not being left behind there. Our markups typically look like these little red bugs. In clicking on them takes you right to the actual RFI that's been transmitted to the subcontractors. It'll have all the information in it. A lot of times those documents will have files embedded within them. So you'll see these blue spots on our drawings. Those are hyperlink callouts. So if you see the little blue highlight, that's a hyperlink. These red callouts are hyperlinks going to different places in the document. So in our RFIs and ASIs and other documents, you'll also see attachments that are highlighted. Those are hyperlinked, or those are actually embedded in that document. So, we'll get sketches and other documentation reports from the design team. So ASIs and other changes, and other design changes, so those come in a little bit of a different form. A lot of times the design teams will send us full drawings or full specifications. So the process for updating those is a little different. Every drawing sheet is its own PDF. So if I get a new sheet from the design team, that new document will be placed on top. The old document will be the second page, and it'll have a red X through it. That way it's clear that it's out of date, but you could still go back and review it. So in the thumbnail version, you'd see something like this, where the new one's on top and the older ones are behind it. The naming convention helps keep them in order. All right, so now I just want to go right into Bluebeam and kind of click around and show you guys what we do. Studio is this little icon here, and you notice I'm logged into studiohoffmancorp.com. Well, Bluebeam has their own servers, and so anytime you're trying to access a Hoffman project, you'll want to be logged into hoffmancorp.com. And project ID, all of this is you set up when you get servers. And so anytime you're trying to access a Hoffman project, you'll want to be logged into hoffmancorp.com. And project ID, all of this is you set up when you get the invitation, and then your project will be just below that. So the document dashboard, it's pretty basic on this project. Other projects have more complex dashboards. We're trying to keep it simple. So, just by clicking on whatever icon you're looking for. So we're trying to get to the structural drawings, or maybe we want to see this foundation plan. You could go to these call-outs here. So there's a little section. There's some changes having to do with this here. You could see what that change is all about. This doesn't have any embedded files. So it's really easy to use, which is that's really key to helping keep you guys focused on your job and what you were contracted to do.
So before you go on, deal.
Well, the value in it, we see that. I don't think a lot of the other contractors are using it to manage their document control the way we are. So the long story is, we send out all these documents to get hyperlinked for us. The company we send it out to knows what we're looking for, and then we manage it. So if I get new documents, or I'm going in and I'm doing a markup, that's all my team. It's me, it's the other engineers on the projects. So I guess the short answer is we use a company to do the bulk out.
Ryan, you might explain you have a BCR here and you're going to post it on the drawings, it's kind of you that's putting that on there. It's not
Yeah,
linking back
yeah.
to
So all
you.
so all of the updates after the company goes out and bulks it out. So let's say we have 3 phases in our project. We might have 3 times where we send our drawings out to get hyperlinked and updated. But all of the daily updates that we do, I mean, you can see on this sheet alone, there's a lot of stuff going on. That's stuff that all of us engineers are doing. Well, see, when we have a question to the design team, we go ahead and mark it up directly on the PDFs, and then we'll stamp it as preliminary, so that we already have the markup ready. All we're waiting for is an answer from the design team. Once we get that answer, we remove our preliminary tag, add we have a workflow that is based around what Bluebeam Studio can do for us. So if you're not committed to it and you don't have the right workflow, yeah, you're just going to abandon ship because you're just going to go back to your old ways of doing it. I've got all sorts of tools that I've got set up. Hoffman has their own tool set that we've created. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's say I have a log of all my BCRs, so I know what the next number is. Let's say it's 999. So then I check it in. My markup's done. Now, as far as linking it to another document, so let's say I have another document that, or I got the answer from the architect, and it's in here. It's BCR 5. Even though I'm calling it 99. I'll use the hyperlink tool. Go to my BCR 5. So I could even close that. And there we go. Now it's open. So pretty simple little workflow. And doing that all up front, you know, before you even ask the question, or maybe you've asked the question. I mean, I use the drawing as a way to ask the question. So I'll do the markup. I'll snapshot this with my snipping tool. I'll email that to whoever. Mark it preliminary so that other people that are looking at that drawing don't get confused.
Do that again.
Do what again?
What you just did.
The snipping tool. Yeah, if you don't have that on your bar down there, then you should put it there. Because there's not a more valuable tool on my computer. Which part do you want me to do again? Yeah, so this little tool here, you'll find it in your programs. I can't remember. I always have a hard time finding it. It's in the accessories? Yeah. When you just pin it to your taskbar down here, so you can make a little snippet, and then you can email that off to somebody. Ways to use Bluebeam to help separate your work from others. So you have there's this drawing on our set, and you want to get it off of our set, and you want to work on it on your own computer because you want to do your own little markups and your own little investigations or measuring stuff. So you download the copy to your hard drive. You want to close the one from your set from the studio. And then you can go in and start marking stuff up. Now, you'll notice that this drawing has had a few revisions. So you might want to delete all these other pages unless those are important to you in what you're doing. Also, there's a lot of extraneous data on there that you probably don't want other people to see or don't want to display because it has to do with what's on my set. And you're not going to be linking it or anything, so you could get rid of all the markups. You could also go in to the hyperlinking tab and get rid of all the hyperlinks because you won't need those. And now you've got a clean drawing that you can go through and mark up. You can do takeoffs, like square footage. You know, if you needed to know what the square footage of this space is here. Huh.
You're calculating the square footage now?
It will when I'm done.
So you're saying it can do a takeoff?
Yeah, it can do takeoffs. So that's 4,671 square feet right there. So estimators, take note. So you noticed when I was clicking around, the cursor would grab on to lines. It would stick to them. That's because this was generated in Revit, and it recognizes those lines. A scanned file, it wouldn't see the line as a line because it's not a vector format. It's a raster image, so it's got lots of little pixels. It doesn't see lines. You can use this. You can use the tool. It just won't snap to the lines. But yeah, you can use the tools. I use it on snapshot stuff all the time. So calibrating the scale. So it's pretty straightforward. You've got, this is an 1/8 equals a foot. So I just went ahead and, when I first got this print, just typed that in here, stored the scale in the page. So now every time I go to that page, I'm not having to reset the scale. The scale is what it is. It's always a good idea to double check your scale because things can get wonky.
In those cases, when you're working off vector files, you know that they're scalable plans, but when you're working with plans are scanned in and created as a PDF, you want to...
You can customize this program in a lot of different ways. You can move these tabs around. So if you'd rather have the measuring tool over here on this tab, or it gets a little crazy. There's a lot of tools. I'm using the extreme version of the software, so I have all the tools available to me. If you get the basic review package, you won't have some like OCR, so text recognition software, that won't be included. So we had a couple of design releases in this project so far. We've had our core and shell stuff. We've had a TI package, and now we have a TI2. The TI2 is so new, it's not even on here yet. But quite often, you'll see that these sheets, and I don't know if I can find one. Oh yeah, this is. So, this has been revised several times. We've got the first sheet for this was released on the 21st of September. Is that September? No, August. And then we've got the next release was on the 28th, same month. And then in November. And then we got a December update. And so, yeah, this is a scheduled. What is this? This is the air terminal units and reheat coils. So lots of updates, but you can see that we are keeping up on it. So at any point when you come into the project, you're looking at the latest and greatest. This is where most people start, right? So if you're looking for a drawing, we're going to go to the drawings. We're going to go to the mechanical set. So this takes you to the index, right, where the mechanical stuff is shown. And then you can just go ahead and pick out what you're looking for.
I'm just curious if there's a list of sequential changes.
Revision history. So this will kind of give you a cursory idea of the changes, but it won't necessarily be accurate. So you could, yeah, so you could go back to what this document looked like back when it was posted as BCR 102. You could see what it was look like when it was first uploaded, and then how it is currently. This is our standard bag of tricks here. Our lead documentation that we have uploaded currently is basically a document for all the subcontractors to use when tracking material. It just gives them access to the current version of that form. We don't have the forms in here. Those are all in Submittal Exchange. O&Ms, we're not even close to that point in our project, but eventually that'll get filled in. We'll have an O&M tag on the, I can show you how that works. I don't have any data in here yet on it, but let's say, yeah, let's go to a floor plan. So let's say, you know, we had an O&M for this air handler. It's going to have an O&M tag, just like an RFI tag or any other tag. It's going to have an O&M tag on it. So I'm going to give it to them on a thumb drive, and they can load it up to whatever computer they want, and it'll run as just a static set. It won't be linked to our server or anything like that. It'll just be its own set. I mean, and they can put it on whatever computer they'd like to have it on.
But they don't need
It can run independently of the server. Bluebeam View would be recommended because a lot of the tools and the way that the project is set up, you know, is Bluebeam specific. Adobe uses hyperlinks too, and a lot of that stuff will work just fine, but to get the most out of it, they should be using a Bluebeam product. So anything that we provide on Bluebeam is free to use for the team. So we're a team first, project first company. So anybody who comes on is what we're providing for everybody is for everybody. We want it to be a successful project for the owner. By having the most up-to-date information at your fingertips at any moment definitely saves project costs, because especially a lot of smaller contractors will come in. They won't have a lot of room to fail. And if they're looking at the most current documents, they're coordinating their work appropriately, they're going to make fewer mistakes. They're going to make more money at the end of the project. I mean, I can't point to one thing, but there's a lot of time savings here with me going in and marking this up, sending it to the architect, getting an answer back, removing my tags, and allowing that markup to now be shared and exist for everybody. That's a huge time saver, and I think anytime you're saving time, you're saving money. I think for the basic user, I think it's pretty fast. Everything is hyperlinked, so it's really easy to navigate, and I think that's the key to getting people started. And then as you work with the software more and more, you'll be pulling up more tools, you'll be trying new things, and I think that's the normal progression of it. But I think the initial just getting in and using it, I think it's pretty user-friendly. Soon, quick.
And you're saying with the files, or?
So you have to be invited to the project. So, you know, if you're on our project, you get an invite. You can use it. You know, I could even set up a test project for people to kind of play around on it. We haven't talked about that, but it would be pretty simple to do, so people could test it out, play around. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it does have a rudimentary function where people see all the updates, But what you're also seeing is anytime somebody moves a hyperlink. So it's not very useful. You're going to get an email directly from us saying your scope of work has changed, or exactly. There's only one level, and that is view only. Yeah. I can't even. We have one person at our main office that gives editing privileges to team members, and there's only a couple people per project. That's just to keep it consistent. Things can get kind of wonky if you got too many people doing it.
Question or issue like a punch list.
So there are people that use Bluebeam for punch list. There's a whole workflow for it. There's other programs out there that do a better job, so I don't bother with it.
What do you use for your punch?
I use PlanGrid.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's all we use.
it's the best. Although there's this new program called Field Lens that's
What is it?
Field Lens.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how that works out.
Yeah.
What you could do is you could, if you were out in the field with your iPad and you were looking at a drawing and you could see that something was amiss, you could take a screenshot of the area, and then you could take a picture, and then you could email that off right there from the field. I mean, it basically does what you're asking it to do. You'll be in the conversation. So if we find something that was affecting your work and we had a question to the design team, you'd be copied on all that correspondence. We try to keep everybody in the loop. Yeah, it's all about communication, and we use email as our primary tool for communicating, and so you'd be copied on that email.
Learning more about some current opportunities that Hoffman actually has. And we're so happy that Bob Vincent is here. He's one of the project managers at Hoffman. He is the project manager for the Nano Engineering and Sciences building. And he's also worked on a number of projects, and we anticipate that he will be with Hoffman in the future. And if you want to develop a relationship with Hoffman, these two gentlemen are the ones that you'll want to definitely hook up with. So with no further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Bob Vincent.
So we wanted to go through and just talk about some of the current opportunities that we have right now. We've been doing a huge amount of work with Sound Transit, and successfully have 3 big projects that are coming up right now. Kind of the first one out of the blocks, and we'll go through kind of the whole list here. But the first one out of the blocks is the Roosevelt Station. And bids will be coming out here. Dave Johnson, Vice President in our office, is overseeing the Sound Transit work. So we've got the, let's see, U District, okay. Anyway, so there's 2 of them, say U District Station, but the first one's Roosevelt Station, so that should say that. And then the next one is the U District Station, so that's on Brooklyn Station right now. It'll go Roosevelt, and then Brooklyn is kind of how those projects are going. You'll see here we'll have bid packages coming out starting this spring, and then we'll follow with the Brooklyn packages here this fall. Another Sound Transit project that we had recently been awarded here is getting light rail over to the east side, and this is a project that we're doing kind of the building side of it, and we're partnered with Kiewit as a joint venture. And with Kiewit, what they'll be doing are the train tracks and kind of the main heavy duty stuff, and then we'll be building the stations along that path. So that will be going along I-90 and going across, and make it more difficult for those to go back and forth to the east side, but it'll be great once we can get Sound Transit or get the packages there. So there's a lot of opportunities there. Dave Johnson in our office is the person to contact, and Kristen Halliday. And The next project coming up here is the Washington State Ferries. So this is the main dock in the city of Seattle. Coleman Dock, large project. Andrew Powell is the person that's running the job. And Andrew Powell's our main contact there. And packages will start coming out here late this year and then into 2017. So lots of good work. And there are high goals on each one of the projects. They're working with both Sound Transit and with the Washington State Ferries. Thank you, Dan. I can go a little bit more detail. So, all right. So anyway, here are some of the opportunities in the different packages here. Earthwork, demolition, etc. You can kind of read through those. Key points here is that down at the bottom, and maybe other people that are interested for mechanical and electrical work. We have the MCCM and ECCM. McKinstry is the MCCM on the project, and Becca Electric is the ECCM. And Becca also worked out at the Sound Transit station for a UW station, which is opening up here shortly. Should be good stuff. And anyway, both are engaged here, and we'll be looking for opportunities for smaller bid packages and for other contractors to be able to maybe do portions of the work, but not big chunks of the work. So those will be opportunities for us as well. This next one here, there we go. So Roosevelt Station. So, and this is coming out here. Bidding here in the spring. I think there was a little longer tail on that, but it is spring this year for the Roosevelt work. Again, similar bid packages on that, and it's a station very similar to the UW station that we're just finished up. So on Brooklyn, this is the next station they're going in. Again, similar bid packages. University Mechanical is the mechanical contractor for the job. And again, these are all kind of stuff that you see on the top, and that's about it. But the main bulk of the project is all below ground. We don't have a detail here on the Washington State Ferries, but that's coming. So anyway, we really encourage anyone who's interested in those projects to keep in touch with Dave Johnson in the office and Andrew Powell, and let them know your interest, and watch for our advertisements. Kristen Halliday is our purchasing manager in the office, and she'll be getting advertisements out both in the papers and sending them out to the folks who have contacted her, and make sure that you get on the list.
All right, any other questions for Bob? All right, thank you so much, Bob. So finally, I'm going to wrap things up. The next steps, obviously, do people view Bluebeam as a good technology, maybe worthwhile looking into, or maybe investing for their own business? Can I hear with a yes? Yeah. All right, one more time. Yeah. All right, good, good. So this technology could be useful for your businesses. That's wonderful. So that may be one of the first things that we'll want to do is for you to go home, do some research. If you need any information, be sure to reach out to myself or our team right here. And we will do whatever we can to get you in touch with the representative who can get some pricing or even do a demonstration more intimate at your home office or in the field. Finally, we want to make sure that you get registered for our next class. If this was a benefit for you, hopefully we'll see you at our future classes, and that's something that we're very pleased. And these classes are a little different than other classes. What we try to do is actually use real-life projects and real-life pursuits that our folks are pursuing, so it gives us an opportunity to see exactly what's going on, when it's going on, and give you an opportunity to be actually competitive and hopefully be awarded one of those contracts. That's what our ultimate goal is. Hopefully these classes will help you refine your skills and keep you very competitive. So when Hoffman sees your number, they get excited and do a cartwheel in the office, and they tell all their estimator and project manager buddies exactly how much of a value it is for your business. We want to make sure that you look at previously recorded classes. You saw Bob go over some of those wonderful multi-million dollar, over $100 million opportunities. As you saw, you probably saw a $500 million worth of project pursuits over the next year and a half. So if I'm you, I'm doing my research and finding out what I can on each one of those projects, finding out who the decision makers are, and making sure that I share the scopes that I'm interested in. You may also want to look and see if there are prime first-tier vendors that are also pursuing those works and see maybe if there's some partnerships that can be established. Make sure that you complete a Hoffman Construction vendor questionnaire. If you have not done so, be sure you do that. If you need some assistance with that, feel free to give me a call, or you can reach Kristen Halliday directly with Hoffman. And also, we want to make sure that you're pursuing Hoffman Construction opportunities. Please take a moment to look at those 3 gentlemen in that picture, and you can see our contact information. Well, 2 gentlemen and 1 hacker. And you see our email addresses, and that's the best way to get a hold of us. I've left business cards all across this place, so if anyone needs to get a hold of me, there's multiple ways that you can do so. And finally, this is a listing of our future classes. Isn't this wonderful? All these free classes that we're providing to you wonderful participants. Estimating in the GCC Environment Part 2 will be the next class that we will be presenting to all of you. And the reason why we have decided to do that is because Hoffman has some pursuits over the next couple months, and we want to make sure that we utilize these classes and these opportunities to make sure that you are positioned to be competitive and successful in those projects. We did an estimating in the GCCM Environment Part 1. If you go to the EIW YouTube University, you'll see it there. And you can see that Part 1. Part 2 will be more detailed, more specific. And those of you that want to get enrolled in that class, communicate with us urgently, because we'll want to make sure that we tailor those class lessons specific to your trades. If there's no further questions, I just want to say thank you again for a wonderful EIW Active Professional Development Construction University, and what we call another term is Hoffman University. Thank you, Hoffman. Thank you, all of you. Have a wonderful evening, and take that chicken home.